Namaste. We were discussing Abhinaya and we have already discussed Angik, Vachik and to a large extent Satvik. We had just begun with Aharya Abhinaya, remember? And we had heard a shlok which gives us an introduction regarding Aharya Abhinaya. We will hear it once more.
Chaturvidham tu nepatyam pustohalankara cha tathangarachana chaiva jnaya sanjeeva eva cha.
So the first is pusta, costumes, apparel, something that we wear, a dress. Next is alankara, ornaments. We all wear ornaments even in life, and so ornaments, jewelry. Then the third is angarachana, using makeup, decorating your face or your body. And finally, sanjeev, when an animal or some object is brought in. Regarding the dress, it is said that it can be made of cloth, that is cotton, silk, or it can be made of leather, or even of leaves or other objects. Various types of costumes are worn in keeping with the character being portrayed. Like the king will wear a certain kind of dress, a saint will wear another kind of dress, a queen will wear one type of dress, a village woman will wear another. Then even from region to region, the costume will vary in keeping with the costumes worn in that area. So the costume will also denote what type of a character is being portrayed and where that character comes from. Then ornaments. There is a very long list of ornaments described in the Natya Shastra. Because in those days, even men used to wear ornaments. You have kings wearing necklaces and bracelets, and you even have heroes and warriors wearing lots of ornaments. The Natya Shastra divides or rather categorizes ornaments under 4 heads. Let us hear the shloka.
Chaturvidham tu vijnayam dehasya avaranam budhai avedyam bandhaniyam cha prakshepyaropyake tatha.
So that which is worn by piercing the body, avedya. For instance, this earring has been worn by piercing the ear. So we are actually wearing it within us. Even when people wear nose rings, the nose is being pierced. So that is one type of ornament. The next is bandhaniya, which is tied. Like when you have the waist band, it is tied. Again, if you wear a band around the head, that is also tied. And the fourth is that which is just placed on you. Say a crown, it is just placed on your head. So it is amazing that we know that we use all these ornaments, but in life we never really think of them as four different types. So let us hear them separately.
Chaturvidham tu vigyan dehasya avaranam budhai avedyam bandhaniyam cha prakshepyaropyake tatha.
So avidha, that which has been pierced, or that which is worn by piercing the body, like a nose ring, earring. Then that which is tied, bandhaniya, a waistband or an armlet, armband, or maybe a band worn on the head. Then prakshepa, that which is worn. We are wearing this. Okay. Then finally aropya, that which is placed. Like when we have a big necklace, we place it on ourselves. Or a crown is placed on your head. In fact, I was thinking regarding a necklace, when we wear a choker, it is tied, bandhaniya. Then a small necklace is worn, so prakshepa. Then a long necklace is put on, aropya. So these are the different types of ornaments that are worn. Ornaments can be made of metals and also stones, and different characters wear different types of jewelry. Also, different types of jewelry are worn in different situations, like a person who is in a very sorrowful state will naturally not wear too much of jewelry. But a person who is happy or a person who is in a romantic mood will wear jewelry. And with jewels also go flowers and other items that resemble jewels. Next is angarag, makeup, or that which decorates the face and the body. In fact, the use of makeup is very, very old. Let us hear what the Natya Shastra has to say.
Sito nilascha pitascha chaturtha rakta eva cha ete svabhavaja varna yai karyam tvangavartanam.
So the main colors as described in the Natya Shastra, the main colors used for makeup are white, blue, yellow and red. In fact, today we have the various colors mixed and we find a palette, but in those days you had the different colors, you mix them according to your need. So, Sita, white, Neela, blue, Pita, yellow and Rakta, red. So these colors were mixed according to the requirement of the character being portrayed, and you did your makeup. The last item that is referred to in Aharya Abhinaya is Sanjeeva. Sanjeeva means that which has life, also that which gives life. Sometimes scholars interpret it as animals because they are beings with life, animals that come onto the stage. But I don't really know whether actual animals came onto the stage. And nowadays it is not possible to have animals dancing with us, right? So anyway, I would interpret it as items which help in giving life to the characters or the situation. And these are basically props or extra items, like say for instance an umbrella or a cane, or even in the case of warriors, various pieces of armor. So these were also used in a dramatic presentation. And nowadays, even in dance, especially in dance dramas, we have the use of props. So these are the four main divisions of Aharya Abhinaya: costumes, ornaments, makeup and props. By discussing Aharya Abhinaya, we have covered basic discussions on all the four Abhinayas. During the course of the last few lectures, we have learnt about the Abhinayas, the Vrittis, the Dharmis, and even we have learnt about dance and the various divisions of dance. Before we end this lesson, I will ask you a few questions to find out how much you remember and how much you have understood. I'm sure you will be able to answer all the questions. The generic name of dance is
Nartan.
Nartan. And within Nartan, we have three kinds or three types of styles. They are
Nritya, Nritya and Natya.
Yes, Nritta or abstract dance. And abstract dance is anchored on
Tal and Lay.
Lay. So, Nritya, Tal, Laya, Ashrayam. So, Tal and Lay are the most important features in an exposition of Nritta. In Nritya, what is most important?
Raga.
Raga. Raga is very important because usually Nritya is expressed with the help of lyrics and songs. So rag or melody is very important. In Natya, what is important?
Bhava and Rasa.
Yes, Bhava and Rasa are very, very important in Natya. Because expression, sentiment, mood, these feature as the most important parts of a dramatic presentation. You learnt about Abhinaya. Abhinaya, that means communicating, and there are four ways of communicating. That is why we have four Abhinayas. Can you name them?
Yes, ma'am. That's Angika Abhinaya, Vasika Abhinaya, Aharya Abhinaya and Satvik Abhinaya.
Right. Angik Abhinaya, in which we communicate through the body and the parts thereof. Vachik Abhinaya, when we communicate through words. Aharya Abhinaya, when we communicate through acquired objects. And Satvik Abhinaya, that in which the communication is done because we have the feeling from within. Let us hear the shloka from the Natya Shastra that enumerates the four Abhinayas.
Angiko vachikascheva Aharya Sattvikastatha Chatvaro Vinayayate Begya Natya Shastra.
So, the learned persons tell us that these are the 4 Abhinayas: Angik, Vachik, Aharya and Sattvik. Now we learnt about Angik. The body, for the sake of analyzing and discussing its usage, is divided into 6 parts. First we have the Shira, the head. Then Hasta or the hands. Then Kati or the waist. Vaksha or the chest. Parshva or the sides, which is the thighs and the hips. And Pada, the feet. This consists of the use of sharir or the body. Then in Angik Abhinaya, we are told that we also use Mukhaj Abhinaya, because there are several parts within the face and these are named separately. Remember, first Netra, right, eyes, bhru, eyebrows, Nasika, which is the nose, Adhar, right lips, Kapul, cheek, Chibuk, the chin. And we are told that the Anga and the Pratyanga are expressed through Shakha, the Shakha of the Anga and Pratyanga, that is movements and expression of these parts are what help to communicate, and that is Angik Abhinaya. In Vachik Abhinaya, we use words in the form of poetry, songs, or simply speaking. Then we discussed Aharya Abhinaya, remember? And we had learnt 4 different categories of Aharya Abhinaya. One is costumes, next ornaments, then makeup, and finally props. So Pusta, Alankar, Angarag and Sanjeeva. We have learnt that Abhinay can be of 2 different categories. One is that which is very natural and realistic. That is called which type of Abhinay, which Dharmi? Lokadharmi. Lokadharmi is that which follows the actions and the movements of actual people, ordinary people. And the other is the very stylized and sophisticated type of presentation. That is called Natya Dharmi. Right. So let us listen to the shlok.
Lokadharmi Natya Dharmi Dharmi tu Dvividha Nritta.
So Dharmi is either realistic and natural, Lokadharmi, or refined, stylized, which is Natya Dharmi. Now, we had learnt that we have how many Vrittis? 4 Vrittis. 4 styles of dramatic presentation. These are Bharati, Satvati,
Kaishiki, and
Arabhati. So Bharati is that in which words, usually Sanskrit words, are very important, and renowned actors take part in Bharati. Vritti, women do not feature much, and it is a very refined, stylized, poetic presentation. Satvati concentrates more on vitality and energy, and it is full of heroism. There is not much of dismay, rather it is full of spirit. Then we have Kaishiki. Kaishiki is the romantic style of presentation. It is full of beautiful songs and dances and heroines, and there is a lot of romance in Kaishiki. And Arabhati is that in which there is deceit, cunning, and a lot of energy too. Then, when discussing Satvik Abhinaya, we had said that there are 8 dramatic moods, 8 Natya Rasas. We will first hear the shlok and then you will enumerate the 8 rasas.
Shringar Hasya Karuna Raudra Veera Bhayanaka Bevatsad Adbhuta Sangyo Chetyashto Natya Rasa Smrita.
So the Ashta Natya Rasa, or the 8 dramatic moods, are Shringar, which is the romantic. The next is
Hasya,
Hasya, which is the comic, full of laughter. Then
Karuna,
Karun, pathetic, full of compassion. Then Raudra, furious, full of anger. Then Veer, heroic, full of energy. Next, Bhayanak, when we are afraid. Then Bibhatsa, when we are disgusted, and
Adbhut,
Adbhut, when we are full of wonder. Now I had said that each rasa has a bhava associated with it. In fact, the bhava gives rise to the rasa. So obviously, since there are 8 rasas, there are 8 bhavas. Let us listen to the shlok describing the 8 bhavas.
Ratirhasascha Shokascha Krodhatsaho Bhayam Tatha Yugupsa Vesmayascheti Sthai Bhava Prakirtita.
So there are 8 sthai bhavas, or 8 dominant feelings or expressions. The first is Rati. Rati, in which we see things or do things which evoke the mood of romance. So maybe dressing, maybe seeing the beauty of nature, being with one's lover, and so on. The second bhava is
Has,
has, when we see something funny, like someone who is wearing something that one should not, or is saying something that one should not. When there's a discrepancy between what should be and what is, then
Shok.
shok, sorrow, when we see something that makes us feel sad. So sorrow gives rise to sorrow or shok to karun ras. Then
Krodh.
krodh, anger, and krodh gives rise to raudra ras. Then for vir ras, which is the bhava,
Utsaha.
utsaha, when we are full of energy. For bhayanak,
Bhay.
bhay, when we see something that makes us full of fear. So bhay gives rise to bhayanak. Then
Jugupsa.
when we see something that is horrible, that is absolutely disgusting, then we experience vibhatsarasa. And finally, vismay, when we see something that is wondrous, that is simply beautiful and larger than life, then we are amazed. Now these are called sthai bhavas because there is again sanchari bhava. You cannot remain at the same bhava for a long time, but this is the dominant bhava, and then there are variations or sanchari bhavas. Then we had discussed that each bhava is caused by something. Like for instance, for being afraid, you have to see something that makes you afraid. Now, what is the cause called? Vibhava. And when you experience the bhava, like when you feel it, then the expression comes through various facial features or through certain actions in the body. What is that called?
Anubhav.
Anubhav. So Anubhav is the expression of bhava. So remember, Vibhav gives rise to bhava, which is expressed in Anubhava. And from bhava, or from the experience of bhava, comes rasa. There are quite a few technical terms and a number of verses that you have learned. And what is really amazing is that in all these 2000 years since the time the Natya Shastra was written, human nature and human art, or rather presentation of artistic talent, has not changed much. We can still identify with these verses. We can still feel them, and we can still help these verses to inspire us to do better presentations in our art form. I wish you all the best. I'm sure you are enjoying the lesson, and in the next set of lessons we will learn about Nayak and Nayika. Namaste.
Pranam.